power plants and the like outside of cities. Joining us now, Liberty Vittert, professor at Washington University, features editor of the Harvard Data Science Review, also Mark and Carol Vittert's favorite child. All right, so is the pollution that's causing climate change, if you assume that and grant Democrats that, is the pollution coming from the United States or from Russia and China?
In a word, the most is coming from other places besides the United States. We could go to the emissions level that Biden is proposing, and it could have absolutely no effect because of what other countries are doing. So we actually have a graphic to show you this. But not only are countries like China and India not reducing their emissions, they are going on an emissions spree. You can see here that until about 2000, both the U.S. and China were increasing slowly their emissions, but that's where the comparison ends. Because in 2000, the U.S. started significantly to decrease their emissions, whereas China just went on this surge of emissions. To put it into context, China is building coal-powered fire plants at a rate that is more than the rest of the world combined.
So they don't seem exactly concerned about this. We put that data back up. Is this self-reported data? Is this what China's telling us they're doing, or is this what we think they're doing or know they're doing?
It's a little bit of both. It's all mixed together. But I think we all know that any data that comes out of China is absolutely questionable. And it's not just burning coal that creates emissions, greenhouse gas emissions. It's timber and wood, deforestation. And we know that a significant proportion of China's wood and timber products are illegally forested. So we have absolutely no data on that. And they are also the biggest manufacturer and exporter of plastics. So pick a factor that you want to multiply China's emissions by, whatever it may be.
Put in the fudge number of how much the Chinese cook the books on anything that looks bad on them. But still, there's an argument, okay, just because China is doing all this, maybe America could do more, and then we wouldn't have these big floods and fires.
Well, sure, there's always these sorts of arguments of just because China's doing something bad doesn't mean we should also. But for a long time that we were putting out emissions, we didn't know it was bad. It's like if a kid goes to their parent and says, I want to smoke cigarettes because, Dad, you smoked cigarettes when you were younger. Well, when the dad was younger, they didn't know it was bad, so now the kid can't smoke cigarettes. So it's not really a fair comparison. And listen, you know, there is a reason that China is building 400 new coal-fired power plants instead of 400 solar power plants. It's because coal is cheaper, it's easier to use.
Yeah, and then they're selling us all the solar panels. That's for a different discussion. All right, so a big part of the infrastructure bill is a $1.7 trillion over the next 10 years. That gives you a 50% reduction in U.S. greenhouse gas pollution. Does that actually make a difference when you look at what China and India and Russia is doing?
Not really. And I mean, there's also a bigger picture to look at here. The Democratic Party always thinks of itself as sort of for the working man. And I think it's really hard to make that argument when it comes to the climate change policy. While new jobs will be created for the American public with this climate change plan, the wages are very different between someone with a fossil fuel job and a new green energy job, a difference of about $12,000 per year. So while they may not be left behind with jobs, I think the real question is whether they will be left behind with a paycheck that can no longer support their families. And when you're a climate change lawmaker or activist, it's really easy to be all for solar-powered everything when your job, when your family, when your livelihood isn't on the line.
So let's bring this back to the video that we saw out of the Northeast, which is really stunning and is really scary. Is there any of the things that are being proposed that there's data to back up that, okay, we have less, let's say we can convince China to have less coal-fired power plants. Do these pictures not happen, or is there data to support that argument?
I think the data to support that argument of actual, like, this flood will not happen because of these emissions, the data simply isn't there. We also have a lot of questions along, yes, we're seeing more natural disasters, we're seeing more flooding, but 150 years ago, Miami, there wasn't any hurricane, there wasn't anything to damage, right, down there. So we're building cities on swamps. Of course they're gonna flood. We're building in places where there are going to be hurricanes. So while climate change is a huge part of this, it's really hard to disentangle the data from what is climate change to what is just, we have more people.
Yeah, we don't know what southern Louisiana looked like in the 1800s after a storm. Liberty, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Great data. All right. It's hard to imagine this because if you think back to where you were 20 years ago, you're just a couple of days before where we all remember where we were 20 years